प्रधान विचारपति गुरुत्वपूर्ण टिप्पणी भारत में विलय पर जम्मू काश्मीर सार्वभौमत्व शेष होइछि। जम्मू काश्मीर धारा 370 उच्छेद नहीं सुप्रीमकोर्ट में अगस्ट 10 तारिख गुरुवार जारी पंचम दिन शुणाणी गुरुत्वपूर्ण टिप्पणी करछन्ती प्रधान विचारपति DY चंद्रचूड़। भारत सहित मिशिजा पर जम्मू काश्मीर सार्वभौमत्व शेष हो जाइछि। तेबे यह सत जे राज्य में थिबा किछि प्रसंग में संसद में आईन तैयारी करा जाय पारनथांता, हेले एथिरे भारत सहित जम्मू काश्मीर संपर्क को प्रभावित होई नथांता। भारत में मिश्रण अर्थ है जम्मू काश्मीर यह सार्वभौमत्व को भारत हस्तांतर करिछि बोली चंद्रचूड़ कहिसथि।
First, when there was instrument of accession, one legal question for my Lord's consideration is this: when you accede, this was a general instrument of accession applicable to all the states. When you accede, do you transfer your sovereignty to the union or not? That is answered by this court, fundamental. They said no, you have not transferred your sovereignty in terms of only instrument of accession. You transfer it only by way of merger agreement. When I concluded,
what is superior? The Constitution of, sorry, what is superior? The Constitution of India?
Of course, it's Constitution of India, but there's no doubt about that.
Constitution of India is the merger agreement.
Not merger agreement, instrument of accession. But with 370 in it. If it was no 370, it was different. My lords,
Ultimately,
understand your lordship's mind that one is Constitution of India is there. Your instrument of accession goes, your sovereignty goes, your everything goes.
ultimately,
But it doesn't seem to be like that, because this is something which has been there for 69 years. This is how the governments have worked it out. For 69 years, from 1950 to 2009.
Now take a case of an Indian state apart from Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes.
There are restraints on the power of parliament to enact laws with respect to anything in the state list. Even today, parliament can't and cannot enact a law on the state list.
No, I will
Right?
your lordship.
Now the reason I mention it is, these restraints on the power of parliament are equally consistent with
जम्मू काश्मीर बार एसोसिएशन पक्षर प्रतिनिधित्व करुवा वरिष्ठ वकिल जाफर शाह तर्क शुणा पर एपरी टिप्पणी करिसेंती प्रधान विचारपति डी चंद्रचूड़। जाफर शाह कहवा कथा थिला जे जम्मू काश्मीर पाखरे सांविधानिक स्वाधीनता थिला। संसद द्वारा पारित प्रत्येक आईन सेठरे कार्यकारी होई पारुनथला। जाफर एपरी बयान शुणा पर उपरोक्त टिप्पणी करिसेंती प्रधान विचारपति। गुरुवार दिन मामलार शुणाणी चलता बेले 5 जन विचारपति खंडपीठर सदस्य जस्टिस संजय किशन कौल गुरुत्वपूर्ण मंतव्य देइछथि। जस्टिस कौल कहते धारा 370 को केबे भी उच्छेद करा भूल हेब। तेबे आमे केवल यह देखिबु जे सरकार यह उच्छेद करने को जो प्रक्रिया आपणाइथिले ता ठीक कि नहीं। यह पूर्व यह शुणाणीर तृतीय दिन में सुप्रीमकोर्ट गुरुत्वपूर्ण मंतव्य देइथिले। कोर्ट कहिथिले जे जम्मू काश्मीर जनमत संग्रह प्रश्न उठनाई। वरिष्ठ वकिल कपिल सिब्बल क्रॉस परीक्षण समय कोर्ट यह कहिसथि। कांग्रेस नेता कपिल सिब्बल कहिथिले जे जम्मू काश्मीर विशेषाधिकार शेष करने केंद्र सरकार निष्पत्ति थिला। एथिपई राज्यवासी मत निया जाय नथिला। एही तर्करे कोर्ट एपरि कहिथिले।
sovereignty where all the other Indian states in any case vesting in the dominion of India in India.
No, with
So a
respect, no.
restraint, see, the distribution of legislative powers does not affect the fact that sovereignty vests in India. So there are certain areas where the parliament cannot touch something which relates to a particular state list item. But merely because parliament is completely disabled from touching a state list item while enacting law, does that detract from the fact that all these states ceded sovereignty to the dominion of India? So what I'm trying to tell you is this, that restraint on the power to enact legislation is implicit in the scheme of the Constitution, the frame of the Constitution. Because we do not have a unitary state. But does that detract the fact that Parliament cannot enact a law on a state list item? Does that detract from sovereignty? It does not. It's just a fetter on Parliament. But there are other fetters on Parliament as well. Now you have the goods and services tax, which is another fetter which has been brought in by consent of the states and by Parliament. These are all fetters which don't dilute from sovereignty. Likewise, once Article 1, as Brother Justice Khanna said, says India shall be a union of states, and that includes the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Transfer of sovereignty was complete. Therefore, we can't really read the Article 370 Constitution as somehow a document which retains some element of sovereignty in Jammu and Kashmir.
I'm saying so for a simple reason. The example which my lords gave that there could be constitutional provisions with regard to other state legislatures that they can do, Parliament can make law, cannot make law with regard to that state legislature.
Bureau Report, News 13 Odisha.